The Track Record Podcast. The Track Record Podcast.
Hello, hello. Come one, come all. Welcome to the Track Record Podcast, the podcast for all your music needs, your music news, and your music reviews.
Ooh,
I'm Tam
good
Brands.
one. Your Tam Brands?
My name is Tam Brands.
Wow. What does that mean?
I don't know. I sell tampons. I think that's where it's from. I don't know. Shout out Eddie Burback.
That's
His new video.
beautiful.
Go peep it. Yeah, this is the Track Record Podcast. We're going to be talking about music today. The album, of course, is The Sailor by none other than Richard Bryan himself, I believe is his name.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think he goes by Rich. Yeah, I mean, this album just dropped.
Just
Very
dropped
excited to
last
talk about
week.
it.
It's been a week, almost. It's been 6 days. And I'm Max, by the way.
And I'm Livia.
And yeah, we're hosting this podcast. Mean text from my dad. He just called me poor. Yeah, he's we're on a whole motivational kick over at his house. He's been sending us a lot of videos about just not being poor, elevating your mindset.
Some of these motivational videos are just, the production quality is so high and the meme quality is just so high. I wonder if they realize they're essentially making memes. If you've ever sat down and been like, I just want to tell people that vaping is wrong, and you make a whole video about it, you're creating a meme of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Andrew Wong
Yeah.
as well for his recent anti-vaping video. And it's like, just leave me alone.
Just let people vape.
Let me vape. I want to vape. I mean, I know we're getting off track. We've got a whole lot of things we want to talk about. Most importantly is The Sailor. But before we get into all that, we've got a lot of stuff we got to talk about because music is important, but just as important is what is happening in the world around us.
Damn,
and it's
that's
summertime.
beautiful. Yeah.
People are out. All the weirdos. They're like roaches. It's like bugs. You know, in the winter, all the spiders come in your house. And then once it's warm out, they all leave. And they're all out in the daylight showing off their weird, funky selves.
Yeah, usually in the summertime is roundabout where I look around and I go, where the hell did all these people come from?
It's exhausting. It's crowded.
It's crowded. I work in a coffee shop, so you know we have fucking the minivan full of kiddos pulling up. Everybody wants a drink, and it's like that one after the other. Regulars, everybody's pulling up. Some people expect me to know what they want to drink based off of their car coming from like a mile and a half away.
Just because they're regulars.
Just because they're regulars. Yeah, I'm expected to memorize all these insane people's insane drinks.
Mm-hmm. One of them actually has a cup there.
Yeah, we keep his cup there.
I think it's foul.
You know, it has stickers on it. I don't know where those even came from. I bet he brought them, actually.
And had you put them on?
Yeah, that's a bold move, going into a coffee shop, bringing your own stickers and saying...
Leaving your own dishes?
Yeah, leaving your own dishes. This lady came up through the drive-thru the other day, and I pop out the window, hey, what can I get you? And she goes, can I get a guava? I think she thought that I would just know what she wanted and that she wanted guava in it. And I was just like, guava? Yeah, you can get a guava. What can I get you right now? Because I don't have a guava. I just started naming drinks.
Well, it's coffee, you know, it's retail. It gets pretty nuts in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
The popular band Frost for the People dropped a brand new song today. Well, a whole EP of really great pop tracks.
Thoughts?
I don't like it. I like Foster the People. I love you guys. I really do. You guys have put out some really fun stuff. But this is bad. This is like elevator music. It's been I don't know, we've been listening to a lot of like chill stuff around the house lately.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and I know I compare a lot of it to elevator music, you know, shout out Mac DeMarco and Frank Ocean. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's worse than elevator music because you can hear how hard they're trying. And it's, yeah, I'm not a big Foster the People fan. I think for me, it's one of those bands that like, it's like My Chemical Romance. You know, if you were in middle school in like 2008, you listen to some MCR, nobody can fault you for that. And if you were in high school, 2010, you listen to some Foster the People.
You heard everybody like pumped up kicks.
Hell yeah, I was pumping my kicks all over the fucking place. They were pumped up.
Pumping kicks left and right.
So yeah, I haven't like followed them as a band, and that new song was sad.
Hard, yeah. But it's imagination. You can go listen to it on Spotify and see for yourselves. Yeah, I guess we can get into the meat and potatoes that we're really here to talk about, which is Rich Brian, the Sailor, his sophomore album, after his first, called Amen.
How long have you been a Rich Brian fan for? Are you familiar with his earlier stuff? Because I'm not plugged into this at all. This is the first.
I've heard him around. I think I've like been aware of him when he was like Rich Chigga, just because the name is very obviously it sticks with you. But you know, I never really like just dove in. But I do remember when Yellow came out. I think I checked that out because I was really into like Joji and that Midsummer Madness song.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Yellow came out, I was like, yeah, let me just check this out. This looks interesting. And you know, I think you were there when I put it on the first time.
Yeah.
Slapped really hard.
The video for that song is amazing. I know they were like, that was like one of the big marketing pushes they did for the song. That video came out. It was sick. It was like people were getting really excited for this album. That was the first thing I ever saw of Rich Brian.
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh yeah, I'm like, I've been listening to this guy's stuff. He's super cool. And I'm like, okay, whatever, sure. And then I watched the video. I was like, oh shit, this is really cool. It's really just creative, artistic, kind of visually. This album is so visual.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, there's a lot that we can get into. But do you want to maybe provide us with some background, if you have anything?
Well,
on your old PC there.
Rich Brian is part of a group called 88 Rising.
Mm-hmm. A very cool new record label. Or I guess they call themselves like a media management company.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but he's just 19 years old.
He's 19. It's pretty, it's gosh dang impressive. But I don't want to be placating or patronizing because I think anybody of any age can do anything. I mean, I don't want to also take away, though, from the fact that he's 19 and that he's accomplished so much shit so far. You know, I mean, it's incredible, but I don't want to, like, patronize and be like, wow, it's really good that Baby figured out how to make music. Because that's not at all how I want to sound.
Yeah, I don't think...
Yeah, dude's 19.
Yeah, he's 19 years old, which is super impressive. He moved here from Indonesia handful of years ago. Not really sure.
Like he was 17.
17, yeah. And he was just trying to make it. And he got signed with this label or this media group, like you were saying, and it's pretty awesome. pretty fucking cool that they connected.
The American dream. Well, because he put out that song, Dat Stick.
See, apparently he's like a meme legend, a Twitter legend.
He was big on Vine. That's how a lot of these guys
Really?
started. I haven't seen any of his Vines yet, but they're out there. He did Vines, he did sketches, he did Dat Stick as a meme. Like, as far as I can tell, he basically got his notoriety from doing jokes. Mm-hmm. And I haven't really heard much of his first album, but as far as I know, it's like half jokes have serious songs. But he was saying in interviews that the serious songs were his focus.
I can't tell if Dat Stick is one of the serious songs or one of the joke songs.
I think it's one of the serious ones.
Dat Stick. Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible that he's come over and he's succeeded. He's done it. In 2 years flat, he's gone from, he's just become a legend.
Living in a castle now, guys.
I'm convinced. Okay, if you guys haven't seen the interview we did with Sean Evans or the Sailor short film, which we'll get into, they constantly reference this fucking castle as his home, and I'm not convinced that he bought property in some country where property is really, really cheap, or he has an inn with the president of said country and got a nice little, like, a gift for making one of the greatest album of the year. I'll say it right now. We're halfway through. Nobody else has made an album that good this year.
How do you think this album has been received? Because, like, when I listened to it, my first thought was like, this is awesome.
Classic.
I don't know about a classic, but instantly I was like, this is just, it's unique, it's juicy, it's fresh. I feel like he's so plugged into, like, it reminds me of like when that Childish Gambino song came out last year, The Summer, and everybody was just like, where did this come from? But it's so right.
Yeah.
I feel like this just came up and it's just like perfect for just the time.
Right time, right place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is I thought people would love this shit. But I don't know. I was kind of scrolling through the 88 Rising subreddit a little bit, and on a few threads, I saw a lot of people were kind of talking shit a little bit, saying like they thought it was immature and even misogynistic at times, and I don't know, calling his like lyrics two-dimensional and saying like the beat flips, which I think were very tastefully done. And he didn't rely on it too heavily, in songs like Vacant and Slow Down Turbo, where it changes. I think it's just abrupt enough to wow you, but it's not enough to confuse you. But people were just kind of really just like, it was like everything that I loved about it, everybody, like a lot of these people didn't like. But that was one thing I've seen. Everything else, though, other than that subreddit, it seems like people are I've seen like so we'll say 50% of it's bad, and then 35% of it has been like and then 15% has been really positive.
I've been seeing some people saying like they really connected with it. A couple people saying like this is the first song I've ever connected with. People saying like, I saw somebody saying that maybe it sounds a little bit like one of Kendrick's songs. I don't know about all that. So some people are definitely really stoked on him. I feel like he's got fans, even if people are maybe surprised by this or taken aback. I feel like Rich Brian, he's just telling the world who he is right now. Maybe they had some kind of idea of what his album was going to be like, and he totally flipped it on its head.
Oh yeah, because I think his first album is like a lot more trap. Like he collaborated with like 21 Savage.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a lot more like trap and a little bit more of bangers. And this album, like the first time listening to it, because on like Yellow and Kids, those first two singles that dropped, and everything else really that came after, like some of the clips from like Rap-A-Papa and the other songs, none of them had like acoustic guitar, but there's acoustic guitar all over this album. On almost, I would say, every single song.
Really?
There's like some, even if it's on like an interlude or some little part or whatever, it sounds like there's acoustic guitar on every single song. And it's got some, I've totally forgot my original point. Why I brought up the acoustic guitar in the first place.
Well, what are some of your favorite songs on this album?
The ones that come to mind are Rap-A-Papa.
Now that song is very sexual.
Very sexual.
He talks about his dick a lot in this album.
Yeah.
But it is a rap album.
It's a rap album. I think it's a healthy amount of of cock talk, which is what I call that kind of rap. I think you know, you got to talk about what you know, and you know, he's 19 and he's fucking a lot.
Damn, I guess that's true.
19-year-old handsome charming rapper who just made like the sickest album of the year. He's probably gonna win a Grammy. He's the first Asian artist to reach like a #1 song on the hip hop charts. Like, he's probably fucking a lot.
And he knows how to cook a good steak.
And he can cook a good steak. So I just think like he's, you know, they say write what you know, and he's like, I'm gonna write some songs about fucking. And,
yeah.
You know, because he it seems to me that like his biggest motivation for all of this is to look cool.
I know. I genuinely think this is like just his style. You know, he's just being himself, and I love the way that comes through. I love, especially that interview he did. I just feel like you really see he did it. Yeah, an interview with Sean Evans that was really cool.
That's what he said in the interview. He said, "I'm just doing all this to look cool." He says he wants to look cool in the movie. He wants to look cool while he does rap.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
On one side, yeah, you know, it really helps your street cred if you rap about how awesome your dick is.
I don't know. Does it? Does it really help your street cred? Because every time I hear that in a rap song, I'm like, okay, cool.
You kind of want to see if that's what's up.
No.
I'm not saying I do, but I'm saying like other appropriately aged people for him do. It's all fun and games.
Is that why rappers rap about how big their dicks are?
Yeah, that's why Kanye does it.
So people be like,
basically an incel.
I wonder.
Yeah, that's why like he's always talking about sex, because he never has it. He's just trying to convince somebody.
Kanye's definitely an incel. Yeah, this is something we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Premeditated murder. Guys.
I thought about killing you. That's only something an incel would say.
It's more so, it's everything. It's all the songs, just the rants.
The vibe.
Just the general vibe he gives off.
Kanye's just like a really handsome, rich neckbeard.
He'd never be caught dead with a neckbeard.
And a nice fat fedora. I
hope with everything I have that Kanye's not an incel, because then you can't be a Kanye fan anymore, right?
I would... If you found out that Kanye never had sex, you wouldn't be a fan of his.
I'd still listen to Kids See Ghosts, but I wouldn't listen to any of his stuff.
Wow. Not even Yeezus. Not even 808s.
If he's like, what if he's secretly like posting on a bunch of incel subreddits and he's just like u/Rob Dunn 25, you know, just some random name.
Wow, Rob Dunn. That sounds like a celebrity.
It sounds like a normal middle America name.
Rob Dunn? No, I'm pretty sure that's a Jackass guy.
Oh, yeah, probably. That's just, it's so deeply embedded into my subconscious that when I make up a fake name, it's just one of the Jackass guys.
I think that, you know, rapping about your dick, you know, it's got to be done tastefully.
Yeah, well, there's a whole other genre, too, of rapping about your... any genital, really. I feel personally that has got to stop. Well, you know, maybe not. It's just let's make it funnier. You know, when it's so serious, it's like, oh, gross.
I think all of Rich Brian's cock talk is plenty funny.
Yeah,
you
maybe.
Know?
Maybe
he's got this great line in Rap-a-Papa: "Pop, pop, pop. That's 3 of my kids. Pop, pop, pop. My son and my twins."
Oh God.
What is it? Pussy singing. I forgot I was a rapper. The way we role play, feeling like some actors. She don't pop pills, only morning afters.
That's the thing about this album.
Great line.
That's a great line, yeah. This album has some lines like this. She don't pop pills, just morning afters. And then it has some of the deepest stuff that just kind of like wrenches at you.
This is one. The first time we were listening to The Sailor, so we listened to this album all the way through, front to back. We put it on in the car and just drove. We didn't stop, listened to the whole thing. Didn't turn it down, didn't pause. And I remember this really hitting me the first time. It's in The Sailor in that interlude right in the end. He goes, or it's the character who approaches him.
Yeah, the little kid.
a question, and they go, "Where do we go when we die? What is the color of blue if there isn't a sky? What is the meaning of life? What is a life if a moment can end in the blink of an eye?"
Damn, that's deep.
But then he talks about his dick in the very next song, and I think it's all fun and games. You know, you've got songs like "Confetti," which is a slapper, slowly becoming one of my favorites. I know you were really attached to it from the beginning.
Confetti came on, and we were driving, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Just like the way the song came up, and when it comes in with that beat, I was like, excuse me. And then listening to the song, it just became my absolute favorite. Sometimes I find I'm like really polar about things. Either I don't even remember some of the songs on the album. Like, that's just me. Sometimes it's just like so unremarkable. And then if it's not that, either I like love it or I hate it. And so this one I hated instantly. And then I love how you can tell how he's so inspired by his home country and his culture, and it really shines in this song. It shines in all of his songs, honestly. The lyric that really got me is from Yellow. How do I disappear without anybody knowing? That one's just, and that whole, it's not even a music video, it's like a short film. It's so visually rich.
Brian.
You know?
It's visually rich, Brian.
Speaking of rich, Brian. No, that little kid who's like, what is the meaning of life?
Yeah.
That was creepy, very cool. I'm reading a really cool sci-fi book right now, and it's almost like those are straight out of the book, to be honest. So it's a little creepy, a little coincidental.
Well, what's the book? You can't just say it.
I'm reading this sick book. It's called The Three-Body Problem by an author called Cixin Liu. He's a Chinese author. He's the #1 science fiction author in China. This is like a hugely popular book. It's
yeah, it's popular. So go read it.
I want to say it's about aliens, but how can something be about
anything?
Something that it's about the unknown, guys. It's blowing my mind. It's about virtual realities. It's about the universe, and it's about that little girl asking what is the meaning of life. It's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. Read it. It's awesome.
Yeah, so check that out. I think another song that deserves a shout out, I mean, I guess we were just kind of going track by track, is Drive Safe.
Yeah.
On the first half of this album. That's a nice, cute song.
It's very cute.
Very cute. Yeah, I mean, that song, very nice vibe. It's got a very nice dry sound, which I appreciate. Songwriting really shines on this song because it's so sparse. I think it shows that, you know, his lyrics and, you know, I don't know who did what on this album because the production credits are just so crazy. But yeah, I mean, whoever was like handling this song and produced it did a really good job because it's very stellar.
Yeah. One thing all you listeners out there should know is that I am not very musically literate. So Max here is a very talented musician. You've got, you know, the ins and the outs, the lingo, you know, it's dry and bare and all that stuff. I get what you mean, but I have a hard time kind of articulating that. But this song, it makes me feel like I'm floating on a river of clouds. I'll tell you that. It is like a smooth journey. It is a great song. I'm very much like, this album is just, you can feel it. Some of the songs hit so heavy. I found that listening to it goes by so quickly. You're just on the journey. It flips back and forth. Yeah, it just has a great pace. Yeah, even when you shuffle it, it works really well.
Yeah. I think a lot of the weird structures help, which you kind of find on more of the back half of the album, which I think maybe we should take a quick break, and then we will get into that when we come back.
Later, skaters.
Be right back. And welcome back to the Rich Brian Fancast.
We are the sailors upon this ship that is Rich Brian.
Yeah, just riding Rich Brian into the sunset.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, we're coming back. We're going to talk about the rest of the album and kind of the marketing surrounding that, his upcoming Sailor tour, and what's next for him and us.
Yeah.
We left off kind of talking about Confetti and Drive Safe, and then after that, we're hit with a song called Vacant, which I really dug because it's one of those few really cool hip-hop songs with an accordion in it.
I didn't even notice there was an accordion. Very subtle.
It blends in very well. I think it's an accordion. I mean, I think it's like a MIDI accordion or some kind of organ or some kind of air instrument. Accordions are run really weird. Are they like a reed?
Ooh, a nice
Or
reed
like a
instrument.
brass?
That's very classy.
Can you look up what type of instrument an accordion is?
Sure.
Because it's got some kind of accordion, but I really liked that beat. I thought the flow on it was really interesting. I thought the whole vibe he was setting up and the story that he told about this fucking idiot girl.
Wow, an accordion is a reed instrument.
Wow, I was right.
Yeah, technically, you'd think it was a percussion, but technically it is a reed instrument because
Well,
it
I didn't think
passes
it was
over.
a percussion. I thought it might be like a wind.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. I like this song a lot. Vacant. It's clearly very personal. I like that we get to see that side of him. It hits hard and it's very emotional. I can't remember. Was there a video for this one?
He did like lyric videos, like little vignettes for each song. When I think the short film that they did started with this song, where it's him in like the bar and he's like rapping by himself at the table.
Yeah, that short film went through all the songs.
No, not all of them.
Not all of them?
No, I think it missed a lot. I remember like a few songs not being there. Like Yellow wasn't in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Kids. I think it was basically maybe except for that one. I think like 100 Degrees. I don't really remember all of it, but
that video went through. Yeah, went through a lot of different songs.
Definitely more than half.
Yeah, totally not in any particular order. It was very artistic. What'd you think? What do you think of the short film? Because that's pretty awesome, pretty bold to put out a short film with an album.
Very Gambino.
Oh, okay.
I get very big Childish Gambino vibes when he put out Because the Internet. He did a very similar thing. I like vaguely remember checking it out. I don't remember watching it or if I even watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that, where it was just kind of like it's all about the music and it's using the music to tell a story, but the story is very vague and abstract and open to interpretation. It's almost borderline experimental, which I don't mind. I thought it was cool. It's like they talk about, for a label that sort of has like pop artists or pop leaning sort of artists and tendencies, Joe G and Nicki and August 08 and a lot of those other guys. This whole Rich Brian album and like the short film, a lot of the marketing is like very artistic and very kind of outside of the norm, which I really appreciate. And I kind of applaud them for just sort of like letting him do his thing. And very obviously he's attached to the message that he's sending. And I want to give props to them because like they're very obviously not focusing on trying to do whatever's popular. They're establishing themselves as like their own unique label apart from everybody else, which makes me really excited for what they've got coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, definitely. I think I love when you get to know an artist and you get to just kind of see outside of social media, because now all of that can be so controlled, by an agent or something. But when you get to just see videos of them, because sometimes you see interviews with an artist you like and you're just like, who the fuck is this person? Like, this is not anything like I was expecting them to be. And what I really like is the first thing I ever saw with Rich Brian was a cooking video when they're making Indonesian chicken wings with Joji.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is such a great way to promote your art. You're just kind of using social media to do something fun and cool and informative and just silly. And, they're cooking at a mansion. It's like a comedy thing. And And, you know, they've got all the 88 Rising kids are there and they're just having a good time kind of thing. I was like, wow, you know, he's really just showing himself to the world and just being himself.
He's a star.
That makes me like his music more because I feel like
you kind of know his personality a little
yeah.
bit. Yeah. You kind of.
It's genius. It's like a genius way to market an album.
Yeah. I mean, they know what they're doing. They are a media management company.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, hey, more power to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. I don't know. Any highlights for you from the second half?
Yeah, I really like Curious.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I love hip hop, but I don't understand anything about how it's made. If you had a gun up to my head and you were like, write a verse right now, I would write you something that sounds like a medieval bard.
All right, freestyle.
No.
Bars. Come on, just 4 bars, real quick.
Yeah, okay. Imagine if life was a game. Imagine if all this was fake. Imagine if everything ended and we go to heaven and meet all the greats. No, just kidding. That was Rich Brian.
I was gonna say that was beautiful.
No, I just think I think this song is sick. I just like his flow. You know, it's all just what sticks with me. I can't explain it, but yeah.
No, it's all good. It gives me kind of like Maroon 5 vibes a little bit. It's got just kind of like this soft, jazzy samba kind of summery vibe, but he definitely takes it in an interesting direction by the end, which I think you could say that for like most of the songs. Not that they're boring to start out with, but a lot of them, they start out one way and they just end in a completely different one. Mm-hmm. One of my favorites that does that is Slow Down Turbo.
Did you like that song?
I love that song.
Yeah, that song was kind of. There's a couple songs on the second half of the album. I'm not a big fan of No Worries. I'm not a big fan of Slow Down Turbo. Yeah, those are 2 songs where I'm kind of just like, you know.
Those are both my favorite. Like 2 of my favorites because those are probably the 2 of the songs on the album. I think where he just flips them like over and over and over again. I think like No Worries. It's like. It starts out, I think it's only 2 where it does this like beautiful piano kind of psychedelic 70s kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then he goes and he kind of raps a little bit. It's almost spoken word over just this sparse piano. And then it just speeds up a little bit and they kind of, you know, manipulate the piano a little bit. And then all of a sudden it's just a fucking sick ass. It sounds like a Drake beat. He does have a lot of Drake moments on this album. Drake's the GOAT. No new friends. Suck on a nipple like Bon Appetit. That is such a Drake line. Iconic line. That's my next tattoo. Yeah, I don't know. I really liked Slow Down Turbo and No Worries. Just because I thought they were like really kind of weird and you know, he's going on tour and I'm kind of hoping he plays most of these songs live because I feel like having visual accompaniment and anything, I think it'll all come together really cool. This album's only like 40-some minutes long. He could play the whole thing live. That would be awesome. I mean, we're going to be looking to get tickets to go see him for sure. Yeah. For sure. My big fear is that we're going to be like the oldest people there. Why do you think he has young fans? What gives you that impression? I feel like 88 Rising, all those artists are like really trendy. This is like the most plugged into like pop culture I've felt in a while. Like hearing this album when it dropped is like, I feel like the hottest on the heels I've been on cool music in a long time. And yeah, I feel like 88 Rising, it's like a trendy thing. You know, I don't think most of the people we hang out with don't know 88 Rising. Yeah, probably not. But I don't know. You know, I don't know. If the show's 21 plus, then I won't be too worried about it. It's not. I just checked. I was a little hopeful. It's not 21 plus. How much are tickets? Let me pull it up here. Yeah, I'm worried that the crowd is going to be super trendy, and I guess it's going to be like a bunch of young kids. Yeah, but I mean, like, you know. We saw some, I think they were high schoolers at Chick-fil-A, and you just feel so old sometimes when you see kids these days. I'm just like, wait, that's what high schoolers look like? Did I look like that? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. And the last song, Where Does the Time Go, featuring Joji, my boy, gotta shout him out.
Let's talk about that song.
Definitely a grower.
Expectation versus reality. What do you think?
Different than what I expected, but at first it threw me off. At first I was, we were both kind of like, really, this is how you're ending it? But
I still feel that way.
I don't know. I think it really grows on me. If you really look at those lyrics and you kind of the message that I was getting from it and my interpretation and the story that it was telling and the way it capped off the album. I don't know. I just really appreciate it, and I really, really like the beat now, the Bacon beat. Yeah, I think it's sick.
Yeah, I do like the story the album tells. I think I love that we got to see him talking about this journey of leaving his home country, being the sailor of his own destiny, and just taking the wheel, if you will, and just steering that shit straight for fame.
Yeah,
right up to the stars.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's even a line in one song where he talks about, you use the internet to hate me, but I use that shit to change my fate, or something like that. It's a great line. But yeah, I mean, he's on to some bigger and better things.
You said something really interesting. You felt like this album was really inspired by YouTube.
Did I say that?
Yeah, what did you mean?
Sounds like a me quote.
What did you mean by that? Because I feel like I get what you're trying to say, and I feel like in all those interviews, I relate to Rich Brian so much because he was talking about watching like steak making tutorials for like being obsessed with them, and he went on a whole tirade about like the emotional freedom technique, like the face tapping for anxiety, which I've been
all the acupressure points.
Yeah, I relate to that so hard. I feel like sometimes I read his tweets, I'm like, okay, Brian, I feel you. And so I get how it was inspired by YouTube in a way, but it's more of a feeling than anything, more of a feeling of kinship. I feel like I listen to this music and it's like he kind of gets it.
Yeah, I think what I meant by it was just that I think the lyrics reflect a lot about our culture, and you and I, we kind of grew up in a weird spot where we were like too young when it was all kind of being established to really participate, but we're like old enough that we remember the genesis of it all. And we're like savvy enough that we can understand it, but we don't really have like the platform or we're not like, deep enough in the internet trenches to like have any real sway over the internet. And I think I'm not even in the same ball game as these kids these days on like all this social media. I don't understand how
we're playing different games. I'm playing the game of adult life.
Yeah, there are people are using Instagram in way different ways than I am. I can't even comprehend doing a brand deal on Instagram. I don't even know how that works. But I mean, I do, but that's besides the point. I think what I meant is just that it feels like man, shit, I don't know what I meant, but I guess I agree with you where I feel more connected with him as an artist because I think he speaks the internet language. I think like one thing I notice about his lyrics is it just sounds like the way that I don't know, I would expect people to sort of talk and rap in a weird way. I think
it's down to earth.
Some of it's down to earth and some of it's just funny. Some of it just sounds like the shit that you say with your friends to make them laugh. I think that's what it is. I think it's just all genuine, whether he's talking about dealing with his fame and his success and the struggle and the grind, or he's talking about his dick for the umpteenth time. I think it's all genuine. I think he's either trying to make you feel or he's trying to make you laugh. And I think the guys from TMG have brought that up a lot too about, people talking to them and being like, are you guys ever going to try to be serious rappers? And they're like, what do you mean? I am a serious rapper. Like, rappers back in the 80s and 90s were saying funny shit all the time.
Yeah.
And I think music in general's lost a lot of that. I think a lot of people take themselves too seriously.
Way too seriously. Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think as far as it being inspired by YouTube, I think everything is inspired by YouTube now.
Damn.
YouTube's at the center of it all. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as the album goes, I loved it. I thought it was a great, promising piece of work from an artist who I don't think has anything left to prove, but I think he's still gonna keep going.
Yeah, I think we're barely
Just
touching the
started.
surface. Yeah, tickets are $70 starting at $70. It goes all the way up to $300. So I don't understand.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm so happy that he's finding some success though. I think that's awesome. Hopefully he's going to become like super rich and we'll see. Yeah, hopefully he'll live up to his name. But I mean, you heard it here first, guys. Rich Brian he's somebody to look out for. He's not somebody to be fucked with.
So you would recommend this album to people?
I'd recommend this album to a friend, a lover, a mother, a brother, a sister, a teacher.
That's a good line. So you just freestyle that right there.
Yeah.
You absolutely could chop it up.
I don't know about all that.
Hit us up for a collab, Rich Brian.
Yeah, hit us up for a collab. Yeah. I feel like we could be friends, but
I mean, he says that he checks his Twitter mentions, so I feel like if we got on Twitter and told him that we did a podcast about his album, he'd check it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, yeah, I thought it was great. I loved it. 2 thumbs up.
We got the Rich Brian fever.
We got Rich Brian fever. We're not fighting the feeling because it's yellow. We're embracing
Hell
it.
no.
Yeah. We're loving it. I'm going to try. I mean, hey, Rich Brian, if you hear this and you appreciate all the nice things we said, you could hook us up with some tickets. I'll take general admission. And like.
Yeah, right. He's just going to give us free tickets. Oh, yeah, guys, loved your podcast. Here, have some tickets.
Exactly.
We'll see about that. If Rich Brian hears this podcast,
mm-hmm.
I will drink a whole milkshake.
Okay. And you're lactose intolerant, so that's basically a death sentence. That
is basically, if I drink a milkshake, I'll instantly die.
Yeah, that's like drinking bleach for you.
Mm-hmm. Brian, is that what you want, Brian? Richard? His richness?
Sire,
his richness, Sir Brian, the sailor.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just, I feel like he's repping one for the immigrants. He said.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on any of that.
Yeah, he said basically like, people are always talking about, my ancestors came here, my dad came here, my mom came here, and he's the one that came here. He is the Asian dad that came here from the stories where people say my dad came here, from Indonesia, from whatever background you came from to, find success and
chase a better life. And he did.
Yeah, he did. So I appreciated that. I thought that was a really cool story for him to tell, and he's shouting it out, and I'm glad he's getting some success. So, yeah, and I'm definitely happy to share this podcast with you guys and just talk about music we like. And, we're just 2 people who love listening to music. We listen to a lot of music, and we just want to talk about it and hear from you guys. So if you have any recommendations for any albums you guys think that we should review, albums that you think are classics, albums that you think are just super cool, you can email us at thetrackrecordpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook as The Track Record Podcast. And obviously, you can find us wherever you found this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be on streaming sites all around the world, global,
We have a website
worldwide.
that we have not locked down the URL for, but
You'll be hearing from us very soon.
you know, if you're on our pages, you'll find it. Shout out Rich Brian. Next time we'll be talking about 808s and Heartbreaks by Mr. Kanye West.
Ever heard of him?
Ever heard of him? He's
Yeah.
this indie artist. I heard he does a lot of cool shit with a ukulele. So
You
we're gonna be
wish.
talking about that, and feel free to listen along at home. If you're checking it out, you can stream The Sailor on anything that you stream on, and check out Rich Brian going on tour. Check out 88 Rising. Support them. Stream it. Don't steal it. And yeah, stream our podcast. Check us out. Let us know if you liked it. Let us know what you thought about the album, what you thought about the show. Yeah.
We want to hear from you guys. So I guess we're going to go play some chess, and we'll talk to all of our fans next time.
All right. Sail on, good sailors.
Later.